For this assignment, I'd like you to use basic primitives and to model a simple table or simple object like this table. You could follow this exactly. Launch the program 123D Design and then just click on Start a New Project. What I want to do is show you a little bit of the interface here, but if you watch the lectures, the various demos in a lecture, you should have some idea. Here you could switch from an orthographic view to a perspective view. Orthographic view, the lines all are parallel. And you can use your mouse or you can use any of the sidebar navigation elements. The mouse is easier. You can use your center wheel to scroll, and you can zoom by holding the wheel down, and you can rotate by holding the right button down. In any case, review those. And I'm going to go back to the orthographic view, which is a more precise modeling tool. And what we're going to do here is we're going to start off by simply building the legs for the table. And we're just going to use basic cylinders for this. So you select in the primitives menu, just select the cylinder tool. And you could set, by using the tab, you can set the radius, and you can also set the height. So here I have the radius set at 3, and I'm changing it there, so 3.5, and I'm going to make the height 50. So it's basically going to be a small radius and a tall, and I increased it some to 60 there. You could see the basic leg then is just simply a tall cylinder. What's next here is what we're going to do next is make the pedestal base. And I'm just going to sketch a basic circle and just put it right on the grid. And I use 20 as the radius for the circle. Now what I'm going to do is extrude that circle. You know, when you click on it and you click the extrusion button, the extrusion menu item, then you could pull using the arrow, or you can add right in the dialog box there. You can put in the actual height of it. And if you see here, what you can also do is you can cause a taper. You'll see the rotation tool develop there. So what I want to do is create a taper, because if you look at the pedestal on the one photograph of the table, you'll see that it tapers up like that. So you can put a certain angle in there, or you could just use it by eye, whichever works best. I will try to get the top of it to be about the size of the pole. And then I'm going to extrude a little bit off the bottom, so I'm going to select the bottom circle, and then I'm going to pull down on it, so I'm going to get a little bit of a lip there because the table has a little bit of a thickness to it on the pedestal. So I'm just going down below the grid, and probably about a minus 3, 4, somewhere around there should do it. So once that's done, once you have that done, then basically the pedestal is complete. You know, you could put, I think I'm putting in a 2 there. You can then bring them together. You want to bring them together. Here I'm going to move it up above the grid because at this point it's below the grid. So now the pedestal is above the grid. I'm going to select the sketch, and simply delete the sketch, so that's not there anymore. And now what I'd like to do is go ahead and using the magnet tool is to be able to snap the two objects together. First I select the base of the cylinder, then the top of the pedestal. Now what you have is basically, you know, the one leg. And in order to make 2 out of 1, I'm simply going to select it, do Control C or Command C on a Mac, and then Command V or Control V, and then simply move the copy that you'll make over to the side. Now we have 2 of them. This pretty much takes care of most parts of the table. What would be needed next, as far as the legs are concerned, is to start drawing the particular part that would go on top of the actual table itself. So in this case, I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm going to select the part that I'm going to be the level that I'm going to be drawing at is going to be at that top level there. So I'm going to be selecting that as the grid. So the actual plane, you don't have to do that. You could always move it up. But here it's going to be already drawn above the ground plane. So say it's the table. So I gotta just figure out the size of the table. Remember, everything we're doing here is not to size, so we're just modeling. And basically, these are all going to be miniatures anyway. We're using the units we're using are millimeters. So in actual, these would be very small, a few inches big. So here you'll see I'm just drawing the rectangle around the base. So now using the navigation cube at the top there, if you click on the house, it'll take you back to your standard view, which is the 3/4 view. Now what I want to do is extrude this, give it some thickness. First I'm moving it up, next I'll extrude it and give it some thickness. I moved it up because I didn't want it to attach directly to the legs yet, so I moved it above, a little bit above the top of the legs. So I'm just going to select it, and then once I select it, going back here, okay, once I select the actual plane, what I'm going to do is extrude it. I could put a number in there, or I could use the arrow to just move it up a little bit. And here I'm going to just put a number in, and 4, so 4 millimeters tall. And so what I have now is a rectangular slab. You might ask, why couldn't you just draw that using the actual primitive cube? You could, and then move it in position just by putting the dimensions in. So now what I need to do is to create some of the detail around the corners a little bit, around the edges, add some materials, and that'll pretty much finish up the table. Not a difficult assignment. Now I'm going to bring it down to the top of the pedestal base so that now it's setting properly. If I want to look around, make sure all the parts are in place, and I can try my perspective. When you do the perspective, it'll give a more realistic view, and so that's what it would be looking like in perspective. Simple problem, and what we need to do here is probably to give it a little more smoothness, to radius, fillet the corners, and that will give it a little softer look. So that'll be the next thing to do here. Go to the upper menu there, and you'll see the fillet tool. So I'll select all the edges, and you see, select them one at a time. It'll ask you to do that. Select them one at a time, and the corners as well. So the 4 corners of the table, and then you could play around with dimensions to get whatever radius you want. And I'm going to go in the dialog box there and put in a 1, which looks about right. I wouldn't want to get too rounded, so I'll leave it at 1. And as far as maybe radiusing the pedestal, you might have to use a really small one here. I don't know if 1 will do it. We'll see if 1 works. But if it's 1 will work. If it doesn't work, you'll get a red flag. It'll say try another one, because if you try something too large. So that pretty much finishes it. All we need to do now is to add materials, and we'll make the top a wood color, taking off the overlay because the blue kind of makes it look kind of weird. And we'll make the base. We'll make both of them the same, obviously. And let's see, we'll do we'll do an iron for them. There's, I think, an iron here somewhere. Iron, there it is. And take off the overlay, and there you go. That pretty much finishes the table. Now I'm taking off the grid, and 123D Design does not have a export as a JPEG. So in order to save your file and to be able to submit it to the assignment, what you want to do is to use some sort of screen capture. I have on my Mac grab, it's called, so I'm just going to simply grab the selection, and when I do that I'll get a TIFF file, and then I'll simply save the TIFF file, to my desktop. Now what I'd recommend you do is once you save the TIFF file, or if your computer, if you can screen grab a JPEG, fine. TIFFs are a little bit large, so what I'll do is I'll open this up in Mac Preview, or any photo program, and then I'll end up, what I'm going to do is then save it as a JPEG. So JPEGs are smaller files, and that's the one you want to use when you submit it for a grade. So that's about it. See what you can do with this, turn in your project, and that will be it for this assignment. You can see here I'm just exporting it as a JPEG. Simple assignment using basic primitives, 3D cylinders and rectilinear solids. Have fun.